Where are you from?
Actually, I grew up in Fort Dodge, and you asked me where am I from? I grew up in Fort Dodge, which is getting pounded right now, by the way, with the blizzard that's coming
Yeah.
on. And but I went to school at UI, and then I went to grad school. I did go to Carolina grad school, so that was not part of the lie.
Mhm.
And then I stayed and worked there and lived there for many years, but I saw the light and I moved back to Iowa City 5 years ago. And I'm really happy I did. I love
And
the
you like to hear?
Hawks.
Yeah. So you said you were a field interviewer
Mm-hmm.
for a while, and you like
Yeah.
that a lot?
Actually, I stumbled upon that sort of gig and that industry back in 2010 because I signed up for the census and I did enumeration and then did some other stuff for them. And then I found out that there's all these companies, and there's about a half dozen big national companies that conduct a lot of the research in education, health, labor, employment, finances. That every once in a while you'll be watching the news and they'll talk about a certain study or something from NORC, the University of Chicago, or what's that. I went to work for those folks, and for most of the past 10 years, again, until COVID-19 kind of shut things down, would sign up for part-time temporary gigs for these projects. And then I would go out and interview folks that would normally not know we're showing up at their door. And we would have to try and convince them and recruit them to participate. And it was interesting work, for sure. So yeah, I mostly interviewed folks, and then also occasionally would list and do other things associated with conducting that sort of research and collect other field data and that sort of.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And then I see you have a puzzle by you. What do you like to do in your free time?
Well, that's one of the things I started to do since COVID-19 was jigsaw puzzles, but I love to read, and I dabble in documentary video type stuff, do some of that. What else? I'm trying to stay in shape and getting back in shape because I'm hoping to ride Ragbrai this summer. I was going to do it last summer, but it got canceled. And I've got a friend that's going to do it with me, which is even better. But I got inspired by a gentleman that is even older than I am that wrote it in 2019. And I said, if Charlie can do it, I can do it. You know what I'm saying? So those are some of the things I do.
Yeah, I was just going to say that kind of reminds me of my grandpa. He loves riding his bike. And he rides more than I probably could. So, I don't know.
It's
do you
great
ride in your free time?
exercise. Yeah.
It is.
And here in Iowa City and the surrounding area, there's all kinds of really nice bike trails and places to ride a bike. And it's mostly flat, which I like. Back in Carolina, lots of rolling hills and whatnot. It's okay when it's flat and you're going downhill. The uphill is always the battle.
Do you live near any trails?
Yeah, actually, I live right near the Hy-Vee at Lantern Park in Coralville. So I'm just like a half mile from Clear Creek and some of those trails that connect to other trails. So, yeah. And then I often ride down either Fifth Street or the Strip and then connect with some of the Iowa City river trails that are down there along the river that are just really nice, too.
And have you ridden Ragbrai before? Did you say?
No, I've not. I've had a couple friends that have ridden, and they enjoyed it. So I'm going to challenge some other friends to see if I can get a big group going. Actually, it's going through my hometown of Fort Dodge. That's the other reason that would be kind of cool to do it this year.
Yeah, it can be easier with friends to motivate you, I'm sure.
Yes.
Or for you to motivate them too. But yeah. Have you always have you liked learning a lot? Do you like learning too?
Oh, I do. And I think there's so many
Cool.
ways and places to learn. I'm into learning. I love school. And actually, I would have gotten more degrees along the way if I could have, but it doesn't pay very well when you're in school and you got to pay
Yeah.
that. But no, yeah. And I think, especially in this day and age with continuing education and now with the internet and all of the ways in which you can sign up for, continuing education in different ways to be even more learned and, learn skills and whatnot. It's great. So.
Mm-hmm. And how was your college application process? Was that?
I suspect it was probably a lot easier and less stressful than yours.
Okay. Yeah, I was just.
Back then, I only applied to 3 schools, and it was easy. And I wasn't, even though I was a pretty good student, and I could have gotten into better private schools. I didn't want to pay it. Plus, my parents, they were going to pay it. So all I did was I applied to Iowa State, and Creighton, and it was pretty simple. I took the ACT. I think it was like maybe $10 for an application. What is it now? It's probably like $50 to apply to school.
I have no idea.
I know it's not cheap these days, but so it was pretty easy and straightforward. And so.
I'm only asking because I'm right about at that time. So.
Oh, okay. So tell me, you're still in high school then, and you're.
Yeah, I'm a junior.
Oh, okay. All right. I did not know. So you're getting ready to apply? Is that it? Cool.
Yeah. I mean, I'm getting ready to start looking at stuff, but not necessarily to apply yet, I guess. But I don't know. It's very overwhelming. I just wondered what what it was like for you in high school.
Yeah, I don't know. It was easy for me. It was straightforward because I grew up being a Hawk fan, and my older sister had gone. So we started to visit Iowa City when I was in high school, and I had other friends that went. So I just wanted to go to Iowa City. And I know it's different for you folks, somebody that grows up here in Iowa City. You probably want to go somewhere else, possibly. And that's okay too, for sure. But yeah, it was easy, straightforward decision for me.
And were you always looking at like the career that you're in, right, or that you were in?
No.
Like, life, or no?
No. I had no clue what I wanted to do.
Okay.
And I didn't have really a clue. I still don't have a clue what I want to do. That's why I do a lot of different things. Okay. That's okay. But, it's okay if you're one of those folks, and there's a lot of them that know what they want to do at a really early age, and they go for it, and they follow that path, and they're really good at it, and they enjoy it. And that's good too. That's cool too. But, in this day and age with all the changing technologies and the industries and jobs, you got to be flexible too, because in the past you could sign up for something and think you're going to work at a certain company or do a certain thing for many, many years. But, no, not always.
Yeah. And then I think one more big thing I have for you is, how did COVID kind of change everything for you? Did it kind of throw a wrench in a lot of what you were doing?
No, it really didn't. I'm one of those few people. I'm fairly secure financially, and I'm older, and I'm not really that social of a person. I really I felt for the young people, and then other people that really I had struggles and issues. I also then was working at Lowe's, and I loved it. I actually, back in the day, I was a painting contractor, but when I moved back to Iowa City, I realized, well, I know paint. So I went and learned the wonderful world of retail. And so I'm just part-time working in the paint department. And so that allowed me still to sort of get out a little bit. Well, I would just work my regular shifts, and still allowed me that. And I don't have a whole lot of friends and family that I need to necessarily to be with or around. And I'm kind of a private person anyway. And I just decided to make the best of it. So I'm very fortunate with everything related. And I learned, I've really honed my cooking skills, and I now bake artisan breads And I
Oh,
just,
wow.
I worked on myself, and sometimes it's okay to do that too.
Yeah. That's very interesting.
Yeah. So, and we all love the senior center for especially all these Zoom classes now.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like you're pretty social.
Oh no, I am, but I still need a lot of my own time, if you know what I'm saying. So
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That's cool. What did you want to do as a kid? Did you want to, like, what were you looking at doing?
what did I want to do as a kid? And a really good interviewing technique is to have the person repeat the question, and I haven't been repeating the question. But what did I want to do as a
Okay.
kid? Uh, actually, I loved sports growing up, so I wanted to be a professional baseball player initially.
Mm.
Uh, and actually, I sort of also, believe it or not, people told me I would make a good lawyer. So a while there, I thought about being a lawyer. But really, mostly, I just wanted to, when I was very young, uh, be a baseball player. But then when I got older into high school, I realized that dream wasn't going to come true. I went ahead and thought about other stuff. And so I'm kind of somewhat business oriented and independent. So I really wanted, and I knew I'd want to kind of run my own business and have my own business, which I did for many years.
Okay. And what was that with?
I was a painting contractor. And
Okay.
that very hands-on, and it was one of those things where lots of satisfaction in working with customers, residential, commercial, all kinds of folks, and seeing through the project from beginning to end, and yeah, so for sure.
And then growing up, or I guess still now, are you close to your family?
I am. That's why one of the reasons why I moved back to Iowa City. I've got two brothers that live here in Coralville, and other old friends. My mom and dad, of course, have passed away, and that my brothers are the only two siblings left. But I actually, my older sister did pass away early or last April, when all the COVID-19 stuff was going on, which wasn't the best. So we're probably going to do a memorial service hopefully this summer. But she had a good life and a long life, and is what that actually opened up for me, because I've never been married and I don't have kids, but it opened up for me connections to my cousins and my nephew and other family. And that's been really, really good. For sure. And my favorite nephew was in the UK and had all the issues coming back to the States with him and his wife, who's a French Canadian. But they're back in Ann Arbor now because they were able to get back. And he's thinking now they're gonna stay here, which is great, because I've got uncle. My sister moved there, and then I got uncle and other cousins there in Ann Arbor. So I'm going to be spending some time in Ann Arbor and Ipsy this summer once all the COVID stuff settles down, and hopefully most of us will be vaccinated by then. So,
Yeah. And have you been vaccinated yet?
no, I'm not. Although it has opened up for folks 65 years and older, and that's on my list to do today to check out. Evidently, some of the pharmacies may have access now to some, so yeah.
Yeah, I know my grandma's getting vaccinated today, or she's supposed to, or maybe yesterday. I would hope it would be yesterday.
So in Arizona, is your family all in Arizona, or are they all over?
No, we're actually pretty much all here. My dad moved down to Arizona to, one of his best friends moved down there, so he also moved. And so that's how I think he, now I'm getting this story all fuzzy. I think my parents met here, and then my dad moved down there, and then it was like a long distance thing. And then my mom ended up moving down there. And so then they had me, and they weren't from there, but and then they came back here to raise me. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, so no one really, no family really is down there. Although I do have a grandma that lives in New Mexico sometimes. She has two places she lives, here and New Mexico, which is kind of still insane because she's like 72 and living two places, but I guess what works for her.
Absolutely. Where in New Mexico?
Albuquerque.
Oh, cool. I've been there. Better Call Saul. You guys into Better Call Saul or Breaking Bad? That's my favorite show right now. It's Better Call Saul. I'm on season 5. I've been binging. It is tremendous. Anyway, it's set in Albuquerque.
Oh, okay. Yeah, apparently the mountains are beautiful. I don't know. I don't remember. I know I've gone down there a couple times, but I can't remember it.
Yeah, that was one of the perks I had when I was doing all those research gigs, was they would fly us to all these exotic cities across the country to do training, and they'd pay us, and we'd get per diem. Albuquerque is one of those spots. So I spent more than a week there in Albuquerque a few years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to go back down there, or back down to Arizona to see what it was like. I moved here when I was like 1 or 2, so I don't remember it. But yeah. Are we going till 9:40, did you say? Okay. Let's see, what else do I have to ask you? I can't remember. There was one thing. Oh, I was going to ask you, was there any like major events that changed your life as a kid going through school or younger?
As a kid, like way back when? No, well, sort of, but I was so young, and it was like it wasn't happening. My dad had a very serious when I was like, I would have been only 9, and of course they shielded us, but he ended up in intensive care because he got exposed to a horrible bunch of chemicals at a job site, and he should have died. They couldn't believe that he lived through it. And I really, it's one of those deals I really didn't know how serious it was and whatnot. But that event, I couldn't even imagine, if my dad would have passed away at that early age. But that was something good that happened that I didn't even know was happening. And even back there in the 60s, that was modern medicine. They somehow, they got him through it. And he lived a pretty good long life. He lived till he was almost 80. So
that's amazing. Wow. Let's see, what else do I have? Have you met anyone super interesting? Who's the most interesting person you've ever met?
Ever met? Ooh, that's a good question. Actually, I find most people interesting because I'm very curious. And I think people have really great stories and great lives, and sometimes we forget about it. Actually, one of the most interesting people I've ever met was here in Coralville back a few years ago. I hooked up with the senior center because of the work they do with video, but then I also checked in with some private folks who did video and PATV. I don't think they're around anymore. And went to Coral Vision. And the guy that was running Coral Vision at the time, named Eric, is one of the most fascinating and intelligent persons I've ever met. And I volunteered and worked there for a while. And then he said, "Hey, Chris, I think I can hire you." So he hired me at the wonderful hourly rate of $11 an hour. But I didn't care. I just loved to do the work. But then it unfortunately, Eric's boss, they had kind of a falling out. He tried to work something out to stay working and doing Coral Vision, but it didn't. So he had to leave, and he works now at ACT.
Okay.
But I'll tell you what, that guy, he ran Coral Vision for almost 10 years, and every person I've ever met that ran into him or knew him in Coralville at City Hall, they said the same thing. This guy is an amazing human being. So kind and compassionate, but he's smart, and we shared a bunch of the same interests. But he
That's
grew
awesome.
up in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, although he didn't have an accent. But he came to
Oh,
Iowa
wow.
to pursue a PhD in anthropology.
Huh.
And he almost completed the program, but then realized he wanted to do something else with his life. So that's a good example of someone that, hey, you can change your mind and change your career just like that. It's okay to.
Yeah. And then I think we're almost to the halfway point, but one more thing. Do you have any advice for my generation?
Wow. Yeah, I got lots of advice. How much time do you got?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, one thing is don't trust anybody over 30. That was our mantra back in the day. It's like, don't trust anybody over 30. Now it's like, don't trust anybody under 30. No, that's not a
Yeah.
good advice at all. No, all I can tell you is, you got a lot of life ahead of you. And I'm going to ask you a few questions about how COVID-19's affected you. But I'll tell you what, out of these times in this pandemic, I got a feeling we are all going to do wonderful things are going to happen in more ways than one. So just look forward. And again, go with your heart and go with your gut, especially your gut. Because over the years, I found, you try and you were making a decision or you kind of were wondering, should I go with this or do this? And if you got a really queasy feeling in your stomach about it, your stomach's telling you something. So sort of listen to your own self. And it's okay to listen to others that are wise and learned or experienced. But there's a lot of people out there that, you just forget about it. You know what I'm saying? So trust yourself.
Yeah, that's good advice.
Well, thank you. The first question, it is COVID-19 related. But, I think one of the things that is so important to us to get along and to enjoy life are these four things. And then I want you to tell me a little bit about how these things may have allowed you to cope with COVID-19. And these are music, dance, art, and laughter.
Yeah, I was going to say that's very interesting that you said those four things because they're like completely spot on with what helps me get through this. So, yeah, music. I do show choir at City, if you know what that is. So yeah, dancing and singing is really fun, especially with all my great friends that I have there. And so yeah, that's something to look forward to be a little bit social at least. We dance in the cafeteria. We try to distance like the full 6 feet apart with a mask. So we're dancing with the mask on and it's really tiring, but it's what you have to do to do that. And then I also like singing. I play piano. I've been playing for like 8 years maybe. Yeah, I love it. And then you said art. I took a class I've always been into art and hobbies and stuff. And so I took an elective at City my freshman year and it was glass. So stained glass and then like mosaics and stuff. And I really ended up liking that a lot. And so I started doing stained glass stuff at home. So I've been doing that lately when I can. And I've actually been selling some of it. I've made like $340.
Oh, good for you. There you go.
Yeah, it's nice. so that's been really fun. And it's been, I mean, like all my stuff is at home, so I don't really have to go anywhere to
Mhm.
do anything. And then laughter, um, I love laughter. I love making people laugh. And so, yeah, I have a lot of good friends and good family that, have allowed me to laugh a lot
Mhm.
during this time and have allowed me to make them laugh a lot.
So let me ask you this: are you guys back in school physically now, or what's going on there? And did you Zoom everything all online last year?
So
How did that work out for you?
last year we got cut off in the third trimester. So we went online well, we had options. You could say like, I already have an A or a B or whatever I want in this class. Like I'm done. That's my final, like that's fine. I'll just not do anything else. Or you could do a pass fail option, so not for a letter grade.
Hmm.
And then you could also, this is what I did, just keep going on Zoom and then just continue normally, but online, I guess. So that's what I did. And then this year, there's always been a hybrid option, and so kids go for 2 to 3 days every other Wednesday. So the days are even then. So there are two groups, the A group and the B group, that go. The A group goes on Monday, Tuesday, and every other Wednesday, and then the B group goes on the other Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. So that was an option. I stayed online because of COVID, and yeah. So, but now there's no hybrid option because the governor made I think passed a bill that said like you have to offer in-person school only or online.
So have you guys started yet back after the break, or not yet?
After winter break?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been back for a while.
Okay, so you told me a little bit, or you asked me about the college application process and how that went for me. Obviously, you must be thinking about college. What are some of your plans for the future? What are you hoping to do once you graduate from high school?
Well, I've always wanted to be a teacher,
Mhm.
and I do like math, so I want to be a math teacher right now, but that could change. I don't know. Um, so yeah, and then I love art still, so I mean, maybe that's a side thing I can do. I don't know.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, well, the options are there for you. So I'm going to go to a couple of these questions that the folks at GenStories so kindly shared with us, because some are really good questions. One is just, if you could have a superpower, especially in these times in COVID-19, what would that superpower be, and how would you use it?
I don't know. It seems really fun to fly, to be able to fly. So either to fly or like to teleport. That'd be really cool. But yeah, I think flying would be super fun. And I would just, I don't know, pull out my wings or whatever and just like fly to wherever I wanted to go. So I don't have to drive there or whatever.
So that leads me to my next question then. Where are some of the interesting places you visited or traveled to? And what are some of the places you hope to travel to? And maybe, just by flying there on your own?
Yeah, I haven't been out of the US, so I haven't been a ton of places, but um I've been to Arizona, and then Chicago is really fun. And then I've been to Florida to visit family friends. Um, and then we do have family friends in Colorado, which I'd like to go to, but I haven't really ever stayed there for a vacation. Um, and then I think I think I'm pretty positive I've been to Minnesota. And then we have some family my uncles are in Wisconsin, or my uncle and his partner. Um, so yeah, I can't remember what else. I feel like I've been other places, but
Hmm.
not too many.
Actually, I'm getting ready to renew my passport, get a passport. Mine expired. And once the COVID-19 expires, I actually have met a few people here in COVID. Uh, one new friend lives in Brazil, so I'm hoping to visit Brazil sometime.
Wow.
So one of the things, a passport's only $110, and maybe you could, like, depending on what college you do, I really think a great way to learn and to be educated is through travel and meeting
Yeah,
other people.
I would like to see other places. That sounds fun. Um, yeah, although I am very like comfortable here at home, so it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of hard for me to go out and like
Hmm.
be somewhere completely different and new. But I don't know.
So you told me that you've got a pretty rich and good life now as a young person in high school, as a junior, and
Yeah.
you got the music and the dance. Do you have any other hobbies that are kind of completely different from that?
Um,
Hobbies that you can tell us about?
yeah. So I'm into stained glass stuff. I like that a lot. I told you about that though.
Mhm.
Um, and then I run culinary club at City High with my friend. Um, and she's more of the like main person, but we just it's a very small club. We just go every Tuesday and cook something and eat it and have fun and then go home. So um, that's fun. And then I also help run dance marathon. And that's a like a mini of the University of Iowa dance marathon. So all of
Mhm.
our money goes to the children's hospital and stuff. And yeah, I'm pretty passionate about that too because my sister had cancer. And so we have always been a dance marathon family. We've always gone to dance marathon. And so that's important to me. Um, yeah, there's more. I can't remember. And
Well, let me ask you. Tell me more about the dance marathon. When normally is that? And did COVID-19 like squash it probably this past year? When's it coming up next?
yeah, so we fundraise for most of the year, and then we have a big event, which is usually a dance. But this year it's just over Zoom. It won't be too long, maybe a couple hours or an hour of just, like our reveal. We're gonna reveal our total and have some family speakers talk. My mom's gonna talk, um, and play a game, and then that'll be it. But so yeah, we would have a dance and some fun stuff, but not this year.
It's normally in the winter, right? When it's like there's not much else to do anyway, so it's a good thing to.
Yeah, it's normally around this time.
Mhm. So we've talked about travel and things like that. Do you have a second language? Are you into languages at all, or anything
Um,
like that? Or
I've taken this is my fourth year of Spanish at City, so I intend to not completely drop that
Mhm.
after high school. Plus, I don't know, Spanish is, I don't know, it's a language that so many people speak here, so it'd be nice to be proficient in that.
Yeah, that's a smart thing to do because I'll tell you what, that opens up a lot of other possibilities for you. If you become fluent in Spanish, it's like job opportunities with your music and dance,
Mhm.
and all that. So that is certainly something. I took Spanish too, and then I traveled in Spain and Mexico, and then I forgot most of it. But I'm taking a Spanish class through the senior center now, so I'm going to try to remember some of it to become
Yeah,
sort of fluent again.
yeah, it's difficult to learn it, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, right now I'm in like an AP class, which I don't know if it's like a college course that's
Hmm.
like a Spanish college course. I don't know. It's definitely higher level. It's like applying Spanish and stuff and like ideas. So it's not necessarily like learning the grammar and stuff. It's like
Hmm.
actually speaking it, which is kind of hard. But
Right.
yeah.
So you've told me a little bit about some of your plans. Uh, Tell me something about a significant event that's happened in your short life that really sort of acted as something as a wake up call, or even though you don't necessarily need a wake up call this young, or something that really sort of influenced you or directed you in a way that
Um,
you would
yeah.
not have thought previous.
So when I was 7, I think it was, this kind of goes along with the dance marathon thing, but my sister was diagnosed with brain cancer. And so that kind of, I mean, like, I don't remember everything very, like, I don't remember every single thing that happened on, like, during that time when we found out, but I do remember that day where we were in the hospital room and they told us. And so that was definitely a big thing. And it was very like a unique situation that not many people have ever had happen to them. Like it was a humongous tumor that was in her brain. That was, if you look at your fist, it was like bigger than your fist in a 2-year-old's
Wow.
brain. So I think it was the size of like a grapefruit or something. So they didn't know what to do. And not many, like she's one of a handful of people in the whole world that's had that type of cancer. So yeah, she should not have made it either, but she's now 11 years old and this amazing little girl. So
Wow.
yeah.
So then you must be again for your work with the dance marathon and raising money for like the children's hospital. Uh, what do you think of, even though you don't like football, what do you think of that new tradition? Tell me,
Oh, the
have
wave.
you heard of that? Tell us about you.
Yeah.
Tell us
Yeah.
about
What's that?
Tell us about what you know about the football team.
Yeah. So have you heard of like kid captains?
No, I haven't. Tell me about that.
So every home game they announce like a kid captain from that has been that has had like pediatric cancer at the university hospital, and they kind of, I think they announce them like on the field and stuff and kind of say a little bit of their story. And so they have a select number of those every season, and for some of them they're like there's one for every away game and there's one for every home game. So the away game people kind of they don't get to go on the field by themselves in front of the whole crowd. So my sister was actually picked for one of those spots, and I think she was scheduled for an away game. So we went to the one of the football games where all of the away game people got recognized or on the field, and so
Mm-hmm.
that was fun. And then yeah, with every game they do the wave up to the hospital, which is really cool. We were staying in the hospital actually my sister had, I can't remember if it was for her, I think she had hip surgery because she fell and broke her hip too. So we were up there and during the football season and on like the one of the top floors, and so we got to wave down to them too. So that was really special.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. That's a wonderful thing, and I'm a big football fan, and
Yeah.
every time the announcers just talk about how great it is, and it sits good pub for Iowa and UI hospitals and everything.
Hmm. Yeah. I don't hate football. I just
Yeah, no, that's okay. I mean, It's just, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Have you had any fun today, Jake, with this?
Yes. No, I like seeing I mean like right now you can't really meet a lot of people, so it's fun going to meet especially people that aren't in your generation. It's interesting to see what, their life is like. So yeah.
So how'd you end up volunteering for this or finding out about this?
Yeah, so my friend that is runs culinary club with me actually just like mentioned it or whatever, and I was just like, "Oh, that's really cool." And then she sent me the info, and that's how it happened.
All right. Well, I'm happy that you signed up because I really
Yeah.
enjoyed speaking with you and talking with you.
Yeah, it was nice talking to you too.